It's a cold morning here in North Carolina. I need a breakfast with some gumption. Biscuits and gravy on the Blackstone? Are you kidding me? Let Camp Cook Brian show you how. It's the middle of March here at Lake Norman State Park in North Carolina, and we woke up to a chilly morning. Biscuits and gravy sounds really good. Trust me, you don't need to be a chef to cook this simple but classic breakfast. But we're dry camping with no hookups, and without an oven, how the heck are we going to cook biscuits? Well, I've got a way, and I'm going to show you how. I just hope this cold spring morning doesn't sabotage us. First, we'll set up the griddle. Then we'll collect our ingredients, and then we'll get breakfast cooking. I've been using the Blackstone griddle for over a year now, and I love it. We packed it in our original base camp one for our summer tour last year, and we used it a lot. Luckily, it fit into our new base camp, and we're using it a lot now too. Setup's pretty easy. It's pretty important when you unfold the base legs to get it stable. It's not terribly important to get the base level, but you need to try to get it as level as you can. Then plop the Blackstone onto the base and hook up the propane. In the background, you can hear the furnace warming up the inside of base camp. It's that cold here this morning. Although Base Camp 1 is an all-electric coach, for some reason, it was delivered with this huge propane tank. So we're going to use it to our advantage. The reason why I like this 22-inch Blackstone is it's small enough to fit in our camper, but it has 2 individual burners. That's going to be really useful in a few minutes. Time to assemble the ingredients. A slice of breakfast sausage, some flour, black pepper, and milk that's still in the fridge is all you need for the gravy. Camping biscuits are even easier. They start in a tube. Sure, you can make biscuits from scratch. I have a really good southern biscuit recipe. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to show you how. So here's the secret on how to cook biscuits on a griddle. Yep, that's a round cooling rack. It keeps the biscuits off of the hot griddle top. Place them on the rack without touching each other. This way they'll cook pretty even. This is just a 5-pack of regular-sized biscuits. We've tried Grands, but they just don't cook evenly. I think there's just too much dough for this little makeshift oven. Now you see why the cooling rack is round, because I just cover it with a bowl. We'll turn the heat off on the biscuit side and make sure the other side is on low. The biscuits will take about 15 minutes to bake, but because it's so cold, I wanted to take a quick peek to see how they're doing. And they look just fine. At about the halfway point in the bake, I peeked again. I noticed the biscuits towards the center of the griddle were cooking faster than the ones towards the edge. But after avoiding near disaster, I rotated them and covered them back up. It's time to start the gravy. To make gravy, you need a roux. To make a roux, you need equal parts fat and flour. I think the sausage manufacturers are using less fat in their sausage, so that's why I've added a little pat of butter. Another peek at the biscuits, and it looks like we'll have to flip them over in a few minutes. It's just so cold here. Even my gravy pan's taken a while to warm up. I'm going to rotate the cooling rack of biscuits one more time. They're coming along just fine. Because it's so cold here, I had to turn the heat up a little higher to get this gravy pan going. Pretty quiet here this morning, just cooking in the woods. Yeah, it's time to flip the biscuits. The bottoms are perfect, and the tops just need a little bit more color. The biscuits are sticking a little to the rack, so how about a note for the future? Oil the rack. Back to the gravy. With the butter I added, I know I have about 1.5 teaspoons of fat, so I need to add about 1.5 teaspoons of flour. Once it's fully mixed in, let it sit for a minute or two to blonde up. We're going to create a white gravy, so we want the flour cooked, but not cooked long enough to turn it too dark. Then we'll start adding the milk, just a splash to start. It'll clump up right quick, but just keep stirring and keep stirring and keep stirring. Then add another little splash and keep stirring. After about 3 or 4 splashes, you go ahead and add a good 1/3 cup of milk. This will cool the pan down, and then it'll start thickening up on its own. But keep stirring. I guess I should note that this is a breakfast for one. If you have more people, then double, triple, or quadruple the ingredients. It's very scalable. Once it comes back to a boil, that's the time to add the pepper. I like a lot of pepper. We're getting close. Keep stirring, but we're getting close. If you're good, your gravy will thicken up just about the same time your biscuits are done. You really can't get any better than that. Oh boy, time to plate 'em up.